Welcome to the Jimmerish FM, and today we're recording an episode of the Theatre and the Colour Passion podcast. We've got here today head honcho Misha. How are you doing?
I am doing well, thank you very much.
It's been maybe 2 months since we last recorded a podcast. What have you been up to since then, Misha?
Well, the theatre club saw... The last show they went and saw was called Forget Me Not and Refractions, and it was put on at Deck Chair Theatre. And I was lucky enough to be acting in that show. And then this month we had a WAU Theatre Company show that we went and saw, but it was a slightly different setup in that it wasn't... We all didn't all go on one day. And it was just because at the end of the year things were going a little awry, and I was on holiday, and so Sarah McKellar was running the day, and it kind of was a bit different that time. But I think Forget Me Not went really well, and we had a fair amount of people come, and it was a really fun question and answer session that we did that James is going to upload soon with We have lots of funny people that were involved in the show, and so they were quite amusing.
Okay, cool. Yeah, Misha, I did actually do my back end that day. It was quite exciting, and was in the emergency room, I think, or just got out of the emergency room when it was happening.
Oh, it
was a bit of a dang because I look forward to the the theatre club things, and my Friday of the month comes along, and guess what? I'm in bloody hospital.
Oh, that's so unfair for you. I'm sorry.
But I also got to see, since the last podcast, I think we went and saw Equus.
Yeah.
We got the special deal there, although we weren't allowed to record the Q&A for that.
That's
but they did do a
right.
Q&A.
They did.
What did you think of Equus?
I really loved it. I thought it was beautifully designed, and I thought most of the acting was absolutely fabulous, and the directing was great, and it was my favourite part were there were dancers, and they were dressed as horses, but they had like quite standard dance type clothes on, and then they had a horse head that was made up of wire, so you could see through it into their faces, and they just moved like horses, and they danced, and the way the boy communicated with the horses, it was just magical and beautiful.
Have you ever seen it being performed before?
Yeah, I have. I actually saw it in South Africa, in Cape Town. But I was either 12 or 14 when I saw it. So it was a long time ago, but I loved it. It was one of my favourite shows because it's such a risky piece of theatre, because there's total nudity, there's sex scenes,
It's very mature themed as well. It's like, it's not, you don't sit around and go, oh, this is going to be a happy-go-lucky play tonight.
Exactly.
It makes it one of those things that you sit down and make you think about things, and it deals with therapy and our responsibility. The conflicts of that therapist might go through. Should we fix people up, or are they happier being crazy?
Yeah, and also...
And that's a very basic way of looking at it. You can even go deeper than
that. Also it looks at the idea of worshipping. And how it can be a confusing thing, and the main character in the play worships horses. And if you look at his parents, one of them is very devoted to God and Christianity, and the other one's an atheist and doesn't believe in God. And so it became quite confusing for this boy, because clearly he wanted something to worship, but he was so confused, so he created his own deity.
So you saw it before, and if you remember, because it was a while ago, but the dancing performance, was that unique to this production?
No, I don't think it is unique. I think it's quite a natural choice to have the horses be performed as by dancers, because dancers are so good with their bodies, and they're so trained to move their bodies. So I don't think it's totally original.
I think the opening scene where there's a solo dance performed, sort of representing of a horse being born and learning to walk for some, that was quite surreal, because it to use human physicality to express something that I guess we're all familiar with. We've all seen it on TV, and nature doc is about young animals being born and learning to walk for the first time. It was surreal because they had, this performer and I guess the choreographers had got it so down pat.
Yeah, it was so accurate.
It really brought you into the story.
Oh, it's gorgeous. Great way to begin. I have a particular passion about having dance included in theatre.
Yeah.
And having moments where there's real moments, real characters, and then suddenly there's a dance movement, and I just am so moved by that when it's done well.
Have you ever worked with dancers on set, or if you've done dancing, is it performed by the actors?
I don't think I have worked with dancers. But I have done dancing classes myself, and therefore have seen dancers work and move. And
I think my one insight that came from the Q&A afterwards, which we weren't able to record, is someone asked William McInnes how do you prepare for such a role, and he I think he said it joking, but he said, I just get up and say the words, and but that was probably my main criticism of the players. Sometimes I didn't believe his character.
That's exactly how I felt.
Because he spoke it so well, but I just didn't really feel the passion in him.
Sometimes I felt like he was saying his words, but he wasn't listening to himself, he wasn't actually connected to what he was saying. And it was fascinating because then, exactly, I agree with you. I saw in the question and answer, he pretty much said that.
And I was like, oh, yeah, well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because that was my main criticism of that.
Me too.
His character seemed to be putting more effort into how he spoke rather than what he was actually
saying and connecting. He didn't seem so connected, and I found that whenever he seemed to lose connection, I did too, and I stopped listening, and I would not be as interested.
Now you also wanted to talk about. We want to sort of sum up the year, but we also want to talk about the future. Yeah. What are your hopes and dreams for the Theatre and Colour Passion group?
Yes. Well, my hopes and dreams are that we reach a position where we can be getting, up to 20 or more people coming to every theatre club night. So next year, what we want to do is we are so open to advice and opinions and feedback from participants. So if anyone out there has a thought on a way that we could make the club work better, please don't hesitate to contact us. And we are also really interested in if anyone wants to be more involved in the club and actually is interested in joining in on organising it and making it happen, we're very open and would welcome that. As well as we are planning on having a launch party at some point that will help with getting it out there and known and that kind of thing. But I think that's the main thing. Next year what we'd like to do is we have a launch party and the other thing is we're going to change it from a Friday night to either a Tuesday or Wednesday night, just to experiment and see which works best. Because I could see really good things about having it on a Friday night, but I could also see some things that didn't work so well, such as Friday night being a social night, and a busy night often for people, whereas Tuesday and Wednesday night are nights that people don't often have lots to do, and also it's the time that the theatre shows often have smallest audiences, so we'd be really assisting them as well, which is the whole point. The whole point is to assist the theatre makers in Perth. So we're going to experiment with that and see how that works as well, and see maybe we can get more people, a larger consistency.
Do most shows do they do Tuesday night shows, or a lot of?
Yeah, usually it goes till Sunday, and then they have a Monday night off, and they have a Tuesday night show.
Cool.
That's the usual way.
I think Tuesday would be good.
Yeah,
and it's like people, do cheap Tuesday movies.
Yeah, and it'll be a cheaper night.
It's kind of a night that people keep aside for entertainment. They're kind of bored and go to the theatre.
Absolutely. Yeah, I haven't fully decided whether it's a Tuesday or Wednesday that will work best, and I'll take that note on, and I'll also ask a few other people as what their opinion is. Yeah.
It's always one of those hard things, but it's good to have a date set so you can go, yep, that Tuesday I'm keeping free for. Yeah,
I definitely want to do it like a last Tuesday of the month or last Wednesday of the month or something, because then it's really consistent and you know that's what you do on the last day of the month, whatever day of the month, which is such a nice way to know that you're still you're keeping yourself in the arts and involved and seeing stuff that's happening. And,
I mean, the other thing I think it'd be cool is, like, you know, if it's kind of like, because it's like a theatre club, could be like a book club where people talk about it, whether we should organise, like, you know, a coffee, go to a coffee shop afterwards, or a bar.
That's something that was very much part of the original plan. And
Although
what ended up evolving is that it didn't work changing venues for the conversation, because often theatre does end rather late and people are quite tired, and it would only work if we were in the same venue. And then often the venues aren't really available for us to hang about in. And if they are, then we kind of ended up coming to the point where if the theatre people would do a question and answer session for us, that would be a good way to have that kind of discussion.
Yeah.
Then having a discussion as well as the question answer. Yeah, it's a tough one. What do you think?
It's just like, you know,
do you think cut the question and answers and go for conversations?
No. It's just like have you ever been to the PAX Script Labs?
Yep.
Yeah, where they sort of you go and you have they have drinks there and you talk beforehand, and then you read the thing and then you fill out a questionnaire form, and then people go to the pub afterwards and you like
continue to socialise.
Yeah, no, it's just a social thing. Plus, you talk about what you've just heard.
Definitely.
And you know, if we, like, I don't know, just as building as a club, and people are like, oh, I want to be part of that.
Yeah, definitely.
Rather than just being about, oh, I get cheap tickets.
Totally agree with you 100%.
But then
the part that doesn't work is that theatre is longer and it goes late. That's why I had it on a Friday night initially, is because people can go late because they don't have work on a Saturday morning. But I'm going to experiment with the Tuesday, Wednesday night because it's not a night where people have plans. But because it will be a work night for many people, I think that's the tough part. That's the part that is hard to figure out. What we have got is we've got someone, Zane Alexander, writes in pre-show information onto the website, so that you can go and read about the show, which is kind of like the pre-show thing. Then we've got the show, and then we've got the post-show thing. I agree with you. There's something that needs to change, but I don't see how. Like, if we go see a show and it's one of those ones that does end at 11, people. How do we make it work so that people want to be involved in the conversation?
This is why we need your feedback, people.
Yes. Yeah.
Go to the Theatre and Colour Fashion group and post on the wall.
And that's the other thing we try to start up, is actually posting discussion boards on Facebook where people could go and we'd say, what did you think about this show that we just saw? And people would go and they could write about the show and their feedback and that kind of thing. And that would be a way of discussing when people don't have to wait around after the show when it's going to be a late night. And that's what we were doing. We're going to go, okay, we'll see the show, do the question answer, have pre-show information, and then have the discussion board available. So far that hasn't taken off. It's interesting because people often see that kind of thing as it being work to join in on something like that. It's like, oh,
it is. Yeah, I gave up. You know, back when I was a kid, I used to be on discussion forums all the time. These days, I'm like, you know, it's a bit of
but I think what people forget how satisfying it can be when you have an interest in something and like seeing other people's opinions and maybe debating and talking and learning and that kind of thing. It actually can be something really fun. So I definitely urge people to take part in the discussion boards afterwards.
My aim is next year is to do a Gimmerish Femme show every Saturday that's arts related, and you know, I mean, it could be a possibility where we could get one of those Saturdays a month could be, you know, dedicated to just talking about things. You know, it's just a matter of getting people to come along, because I know people are interested. I have to get my own momentum up in the same way as the Theatre and Colour Passion is, because people are like, what's podcasting? Especially in Perth, not many people know what that is.
And then
you have to come down to my shed.
Which day?
You're like, am I going to be killed by the serial killer? Like, slaughtered in a shed and hang up on a hook or something.
Exactly. I'm worried about this interview finishing and the knives coming out.
No, you're meant to be talking out like Misha. This is
it's
great
great.
fun.
No, it is. No, it actually is fun. It's actually surprisingly fun. Now, this is like, I remember the first time I came, I was quite tired that day, and I realised how satisfying it is to talk about things that you're interested in.
Yeah, yeah.
And especially when we've got a goal, like, so Theatre in the Colour Passion, the goal is to get theatre in Perth, have it grow and have it be really successful and have a bigger audience. And this is such a great way to contribute to that. And so therefore there are other people out there that have their own artistic goals. Mm-hmm. And, it's a great way for them to advertise themselves if they're doing a show or if they're that kind of thing. So it is a great thing if people are hearing it and people are listening, which comes down to publicity and marketing.
Yeah, yeah. The bane of my
Which is the
existence.
same as Theatre in the Colour Passion. And unfortunately for me, I'm not the best publicist or marketer.
Yeah.
Anyone out there who loves the theatre and publicising or marketing, please contact us on.
Yes. Find us on Facebook. You can send me an email at gimmerish.fm@gmail.com. So, 2009, how has it evolved for you? Do you feel you've developed?
For Theatre in the Colour Passion or as myself personally?
As a practitioner of theatre.
Well, I had been focusing on film before for about a year and a half, 2 years before 2009. And at the end of 2008, really got clear on how much I missed theatre. And so I put a lot of effort into developing myself and growing as a theatre practitioner, and that's why I started the theatre club. And as part of the theatre club is advanced acting classes for theatre in Perth, because there weren't any theatre acting classes in Perth that were for advanced participants. Mm-hmm. There's a great class that happens at Pack Screen Workshops for theatre, but there are a very wide range of skilled people in the class. And so when you're working with people who haven't got a lot of experience, it can sometimes not be as stimulating. So I started up these acting classes, and that has been phenomenal for me because I've learnt so much. I've worked with such a wide variety of directors. And I just really felt that I was able to get myself fit, in quotation marks, as an actor again. I'm feeling more comfortable in my acting, and I'm at the moment rehearsing for Eat My Monologues. I had my first rehearsal yesterday with Marcel Schmitz. Mm-hmm. She's delightful. I love working with her, and it was such a comfortable, wonderful rehearsal. And I could just tell that doing these acting classes has just gotten me more confident in the choices I make and being spontaneous and that kind of thing. Mm-hmm.
And so is that thing you're going to keep on doing next year?
Yeah, we're going to continue doing the advanced acting classes. They are... we're currently in discussion at the moment with 2 directors that have worked with us about putting on a show through the advanced acting classes. So really committed members of the classes will be involved in this show, and we'll put it on at the Blue Room or another local venue in Perth. Mm-hmm. And basically for fun, for passion, to create, to make art. And so we're really excited about that. When we are rehearsing for the shows, we won't have classes as per usual, but when we're not, we will have classes, and we'll continue to find as many directors as we can that specialise in different things, to learn a variety of different things. Our last director for the advanced acting classes was Marissa Garefa, and our very last class for the year was on clowning, and it was surprisingly hard. Really physically tiring. It was fantastic. It was such a great challenge. I learned so much, and we may be doing a clowning show. If it all goes according to plan, which is so exciting because, I'm not very experienced in that, and that was the whole point for me, these acting classes, was learning new stuff.
Finding something that
gaining skills.
Oh, that sounds really cool.
Yeah.
I'll hopefully have you guys back to talk more about the project as it develops, hopefully.
Yeah, beautiful. Please do.
we're back live after a bit of a break there. We kicked out Misha, and I got with someone I've never met before, except being highly recommended by some old friends of mine. And I don't even know how to pronounce your name, sorry.
Iskander.
Iskander.
Iskander Shahrazudin.
Iskander Shahrazudin.
It's a bit of a mouthful.
Yeah.
It's quite long.
Well, at least no one forgets it.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
It can get awkward, though, because after meeting so many people, and you don't remember their names, but they'll always remember yours.
Yeah. I'm James from gemrich.com, and I got Iskander.
That's the one.
Is that what you go by?
Yeah, or you can call me Esky.
Esky. People call you Esky?
People call me Esky.
Like the drink holder.
The drink holder.
Okay.
That's it.
Well, Iskander is a musical theatre practitioner in Perth.
Sounds about right.
What would you call it? Performer?
Yeah, performer.
Yeah. Oh, you just like, yeah.
Stage, screen,
I'm an
whatever
artist.
it's going.
That's what I say.
I'm an artist.
Yeah. Because everyone's like, oh, what do you do? Oh, I do filmmaking, but I do a bit of like this internet radio. And they're like, what do you do? And I'm like, oh, I'm just an artist.
Well, if somebody asks me what I do for a living, I say I'm an actor and a writer, and I occasionally get paid. So.
Oh yeah, cool. Yeah.
That's what I do.
Yes, well, technically, I get paid by working in a restaurant, but
I
think that I.
it's that cliched artist working in the restaurant. That's what we all do.
Now, the reason I've got him on is because Theatre and the Colour Passion group went to see Sweat last week, and I was not there because I'm working full time. Because of the Christmas rush, which is a little bummer, because I wanted to go see it. An old family friend of mine called Liam Graham was part of it, and he put me on to Iskander, and I just wanted to get him in and talk about, I guess, because question about, introduce himself, and then talk about the production and how it went, how it was developed, any reflections on the project you might have.
Yeah, sure.
But perhaps we start off, like, how did you become to be, I don't know, a musical performer? What's your
my background is
passion?
actually elite gymnastics.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was a junior international
did you do circus performing?
I did not.
No. A lot of people seem to like do gymnasts and they do like circus, like, oh, I could become an actor.
I do have a few friends that have gone down that track, but no. I trained at Wace, and I was injured, unfortunately, which caused me to drop out. And when you spend 30 to 40 hours a week,
what was your speciality?
The floor.
Oh yeah, okay.
I've got springy legs.
Yeah.
But so I needed something to fill the gap, and I dropped into drama at high school, and that's where it happened.
Did you do TE?
I did indeed. Yeah.
Was that good?
It was good.
It's my biggest regret not doing that. Because I at my school you could either do physics or drama because they're on at the same time, and at the time I was crazy, wanted to be an engineer, and I was like,
no,
how wrong
physics
I was
over drama.
But I mean, I wish I would have done both if at the time because I was interested. I did drama, in lower school, but I never got to do the real thing.
Yeah, no, I did the TE thing, and then I started to seek out community theatre groups, and I got involved with a number of community theatres and started to perform with them, sit on their committees, and get involved with the general.
So what are some of them?
Shine Studios is one of them.
Yeah.
They operate out of Murdoch University at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
Mesh Youth Theatre Company.
I've seen some.
With WA Stage School. Obviously, I just worked with Waitco for Sweat.
Yeah.
Azure Entertainment is another one. It's a fairly new one. They do variety shows every 2-3 months.
So you've just just picked it up as you're going. You've never studied.
I study at the moment at FTI in the screen acting course.
Yeah.
Their inaugural screen acting course.
Okay, so how's that going?
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
It is absolutely brilliant. The unit coordinator is Fern Nicholson.
Oh yeah,
and she's a lady with a good lot of experience behind her, and someone that's ridiculously passionate. And
how does that integrate into FTI? Do you get involved with the film students there as well, or? Yeah.
They've started to sort of crisscross the classes, and for the DP students, the digital production students, their drama slates, they audition the actors to use for their pieces, and we work together so that the classes are more conjoined, and it's a nice environment down there. So that would be where the study comes in at the moment.
So what have you said that this Sweat was your 6th show of the year?
I think it's about the 6th, yeah.
Yeah. What else have you been working on?
Well, Azure Entertainment opened this year, and that's a group that is focused on doing a variety show every 2 to 3 months to showcase the versatility of theatrical talent in Perth. And basically, we throw out a theme, and the last one, for example, was noir, black. Yeah. And performers come and audition a piece of musical theatre or a monologue or a duologue or a piece of contortion, anything. We had a mime artist the last show that has a feeling of noir to it. And then we have 3 comedians called the Bare Essentials, one of which I am.
Yeah.
And we sort of tie a loose narrative through each of the acts. And it's generally... So we've done 2 shows so far this year, and they've been quite nice.
And where do you perform that?
Subiaco Arts Centre.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. And then with Mesh, we did Wedding Singer this year.
Oh, really? We had earlier, one of my early podcasts, this is a new thing, but we had Anna Bauer.
Oh, yeah.
She came and did an interview about her dreams to go to Broadway and stuff like that.
I'm not laughing at her dreams.
Oh, right,
yeah. No, I know Anna. We worked on Wedding Singer together. She's good.
Yeah.
She's a great girl. And I guess we did Little Shop of Horrors with Shine Studios down at Murdoch, which was stunning, amazing.
What are the turnaround times on these things? Like, how long do you spend on each project? And is there overlaps?
Yeah, they do tend to overlap. Production week and tech week for Little Shop was during the rehearsals of Wedding Singer, so I guess you just have to plan it and ensure that you're not going to be performing at the same time. Because that would be counterproductive. But yeah, they do. Wedding Singer was 4 months rehearsal time. Little Shop of Horrors was a lot longer. I was in London prior to it. I came to the production late, but I think they were rehearsing for at least 6-7 months.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And how long was the run go for?
Which one, sorry?
For Little Shop of Horrors.
The run?
Yeah.
We went for a week and a half, maybe, I think.
So that gives you some kind of 6 months worked for a week and a half.
Yeah.
That would be pretty intense.
Yeah.
Running up to that week and a half.
Well, I mean...
Or it's like just down pat once you get there.
Yeah,
it's
it is.
Like
It's a nice little... It's a nice coming down, and there's not so much stress. But I mean, everybody that does it because they love it. Nobody gets paid. It's community theatre. We do it because we enjoy it. So, it's and we're used to that 6-month period, and we enjoy every moment because you build that camaraderie of a cast.
Yeah. Misho, who we were speaking to earlier, was complaining about it's hard to market things and it's hard to be both an artist and a marketer and be good at both kind of thing. Do you have to go out there and try and push your products?
I do. Do you want one of my business cards?
Oh, right, yeah, sure.
I have.
Feel welcome to plug anything you want.
I'm going to plug this.
We've probably got 2 people listening.
You're a good man, Charlie Brown. There you go.
Okay, cool.
You can come and
with Mesh.
In Mesh. Yeah, no. See, we do that. We create these little business cards with the show that are quite sort of colourful, and you throw those at people and they wonder what it is.
Oh, you take them out to the clubs and be like, drop it in people's handbags.
Come see musical theatre. It's worth it. Yeah, so
I've worked on a few dance productions and we've had to do guerrilla marketing and just sneaking cards into whenever we can get
nice. Yeah,
thing. I'm not sure if it has actually worked in Perth, but we dream.
Well, we had a good showing for Wedding Singer. We sold out.
I actually went there one night to go with a friend. We were just in Subiaco and I'm like, there's a show on, and it was sold out. We couldn't get in.
Yeah, Mesh did really well with their marketing for that one. So hopefully we'll just keep pushing the same buttons and we'll get there. But
now, anyway, so I got you in to talk about Sweat because of the thing. When did you start working on that?
Sweat would have been a few months ago. 3 months ago. What month is this? December.
Yeah.
So maybe. What comes before November? August?
October?
August, maybe we started?
August, yeah.
August, October, round about then. So generally quite a short period of time, rehearsal time. I could be completely wrong. about that month. I have no idea.
It's fair enough. People lose track of time.
After doing
barely know what time it is
show
right
after
now.
show after show, I forget when each one starts and finishes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do distinctly remember it wasn't a long rehearsal period.
And what is Sweat all about? What is the pitch of Sweat?
Well, it was a self-devised sort of piece by the production company. Basically, this is my first foray into working with Waco, WAU Theatre Company.
And did you have to audition?
Yeah. They did do an audition, but they have this project called Blood, Sweat, Tears.
Yeah.
And last year they did a show called Blood, and this year is Sweat, and next year, by that linear fashion, will be Tears.
Yeah.
And it's a self-devised thing, and it's just about getting everybody together in all creative aspects, from costuming to writing, and they spend 12 months with writing workshops with cast, and they all pull together and they make this piece. Sweat was about death, faith. It was a show, I guess, about the unknown and the unbalanced afterlife. It's a bit of a Pan's Labyrinth was what comes to mind when I think about Sweat. It's a bit of a influence on the film, on the show. So and it's about a woman that ends up in purgatory as such, and has to go through a few trials and tribulations to ensure that she moves on. So there's an element of cliche to it.
Yeah.
But cliches are cliches, and if they're done well, they're done well. So it was an enjoyable show, and it worked well.
What was your role in?
I played Seth. He was a disgraced fallen god that had been charged with the responsibility of escorting 100 souls across purgatory and assisting them. But he's a bit of a habitual pretentious guy, without swearing there.
You can
Can I swear?
Yeah.
Well, he was a pretentious bastard.
Yeah.
A bit of an egocentric guy. And he can't quite connect with the myriad feelings of humanity's misery and melancholy. So there ends up being this nice, contrast between him and Alice, who's the character, the lead female, that he has to assist through this desert, because he can't connect with all her emotions. Because he's a god. And he was exiled from his place of purpose because he got a bit he got the fancy for his brother's missus. And
so is there some dark humour in
it is. It's a humorous piece. It doesn't take itself too seriously. I mean, there's some lines in there that completely mock the cliche. But it's nice. It gives a nice moral message, as well as ensuring that it's not taking itself too seriously with its absurdism. So yeah.
Oh, sounds cool. And so what is the rehearsal process like? How much do you rehearse, like, for a given week?
Well, Sweat was different. It's a different show that I've ever been in, because initially when we got involved, there wasn't a script. So the rehearsal process involved the director, Patrick Downs, just setting up improvisations, and we sort of developed and workshopped the characters that way. And we had 2 rehearsals a week, Tuesdays and Sundays. And we just did improvisations for the first month or two, to really solidify those characters. And once we had a cemented idea of what we wanted the characters to be, or who we wanted in the show, then we decided that it was time to write it. We had a basic outline, so we knew what we wanted to happen, but we didn't have the characters. We didn't have anything. So it was a completely different rehearsal process that I've been involved in. So it was a nice, unique experience for me.
And to that accelerate, so you eventually had more rehearsals, or you always stuck to the...
we generally always stuck to the 2 a week, which is quite normal for a show in Western Australia, Perth. People work, people go to uni school. It's hard to keep up with it. So
So how'd the show go down?
Look, it went well. We're at Yiriyarkin Theatre, and the cast had a ball. It was just a real bonding it sounds so, like everybody says it's a bonding thing.
Yeah.
But
it's all a part of working as a team kind of thing.
Well, it is, but I mean, just with the idea of us not actually having a script and having to all come together, and we all played each other's characters through the improvisations, but we all had a deeper and better understanding of where people were coming from, and so we were all really invested in each other's characters. So for me, there was a different sort of familial relationship between everybody, and that made the show go down really well. We had some really, really good nights, and we ran for 2 weeks, minus a Monday and a Sunday.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And was it hectic? Or is it just like turning up for work each night?
Yeah.
Because I've never had to before. I've always been behind the scenes. I've never had to go up.
It's hectic. No, it's not hectic. It's fun.
Yeah.
It is. It's turning up to work, and
Do you ever some nights you're like, I don't feel it today, or?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely. You definitely have that, but it's just a matter of maintaining professionalism.
Yeah.
And throwing up the best performance that you can on stage.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, the people that paid to see the show that night are going to be a bit disappointed.
What is the longest run time you've ever worked on, for a show? That's gone the longest run you've...
Well, generally, community theatre shows in Perth will not run for more than 4 weeks at the most.
Yeah.
There's a couple of shows that have just finished. Sweeney Todd down at Rolling Stone, The Wiz up in Malu, they ran for 4 weeks. So that's probably the longest that I've run a show for. Roundabout, yeah.
Now, so you've given me this card here for You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown.
Yeah.
So you're currently rehearsing this?
Yeah, no, I'm the assistant director for You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown. So I'm behind.
So you're behind the scenes.
I'm behind the scenes for that one. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So because I sit on the committee for Mesh, and it'd be a nice, good, colourful show. So
yeah. And so is this based on the Peanuts?
It sure is.
Background, yeah.
It is, definitely is.
And is it already written, or you've devised your own based on the characters?
This is a Broadway musical.
Okay.
They had a revival cast of it. It's an old musical. They had a revival cast in 1999, I think.
Yeah.
On Broadway, which had Kristen Chenoweth in it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I only know from people like Anna saying that.
Yeah.
And,
she's the girl that did Wicked.
Yeah.
The first Glinda. And B.D. Wong. Do you know B.D. Wong?
No. Please explain.
What is it?
I can Google it.
Law and Order SVU.
Oh right. Yeah.
Yeah. Criminal psychologist, Asian criminal psychologist.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a Broadway star.
Okay. Yeah.
He was in that. He played Linus. So
before he hit Law and Order.
I don't think he's gone back on Broadway, but incidentally enough, there's a few people that have been on Broadway.
I've been listening to a few of the Inside the Actors Studios because they've just added them to the ABC Online thing, and a lot of the actors say once they have kids, they're like, I got to go to TV because it needs something more consistent to, make sure the kids get through high school and college and whatnot.
Well, yeah, I'm sure that's true. I'll find out.
Yeah, I mean it's very convenient for them that they can just get a job in TV. And
that's also true.
Yeah. So yes, plug here. You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown. January 19th to the 23rd at Subiaco Arts Centre.
Yeah, do it. It'll rock your world.
From all reports, the wedding singer went off with a bang. So you better get tickets to the show, as I found out. Otherwise, you'll be disappointed. Tickets through Box.
That's correct.
meshtheatre.com.au.
Yeah.
What about you? Where can people find you on the internet? Do you have a Twitter or a MySpace?
I do not have a Twitter. I've got a Facebook. You can
stalk you if you want.
You can stalk me there if you want to, if necessary. But yeah, I'm sure you can reach me through Mesh. Drop a line there.
Oh right, yeah, sure. Well, thanks for coming in. That was a bit of a random to get you in, but
that's all right. I don't mind anything for the arts. I'm always happy.
We'll keep you updated. Hopefully, we'll be doing more theatre-related podcasts more regularly next year.
Let me know.
And we want to get a panel, 4 people talking.
Nice.
Stuff,
I want that. That's cool. Well, there's a lot coming up next year as well for theatre in Perth. So.
Yeah. No, that's why I'm excited. That's why I would like to do a dedicated podcast just to that because, like I do Elusive Isolation, the arts podcast, but and I will hope to get actors, an actor onto that round table discussions. But I just, cause from my filmmaking background, I sort of get surrounded by people doing all these works that I'm interested to talk about and just get discussion going.
Do you do discussions on short films and things like that as well?
No, but maybe. I mean, some of my filmmaking friends were thinking of starting just a movie review show and just going to see a movie and reviewing it. It's just not as interesting, filmmaking. It's so tedious. But maybe I have to do that.
I love both.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun to make. I just don't know. It's not as fun to discuss because it's, it's such a small sort of medium at the moment, when you're making short films. But I have some friends we're going to record their commentary track for their short film they're making in the studio. So that'll be interesting, and
cool.
Maybe that'll be the start of something. But yeah, thanks, Skunda, for coming on. And I will catch you soon.
You certainly will.
No worries.
Thanks, sir.
Bye. What else do we need to talk about? That's about it, really.
I think we did it. I think we've done it all.
So, in summation, please, hopefully you're already listening to this. I can't say please listen to this because you're already listening to it if you are. Yes, Misha would love some feedback about the group theatre nights for next year, what days would be best to go, and
any other bright ideas people might have.
Yeah. She would love to hear it. Go on the group, search for Theatre and the Colour Passion on Facebook, join. You'll get updates about when we're having a show. You get discount tickets to come along. You get to go as a group, so you can have the opportunity to. It's a social thing, and especially if you don't already go to theatre, it's a good excuse to go because it's not like I don't have to go by myself. You get to go with people. And
then the other thing is, if you don't go to the theatre a lot, the question and answer sessions are the ideal situation to get an insight in what the goings-on of theatre are, because there are a lot of people out there that don't understand it and therefore aren't interested. Mm-hmm. But if they could understand it, if they could get those insights, they may find a similar passion that theatre lovers already have.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what our goal is to introduce this art form as something worthy.
That's really cool.
Cool.
Thanks for coming on, Misha.
Thank you for having me.
I'll be posting the Q&A from Forget Me Not and Refractions just after this segment ends, and we'll hopefully see you in the new year with updates on Theatre and the Colour Passion, and we'll be talking more theatre. Thank you.
Bye.
You're gonna make it sound like there's more of you than there is of us. So if you're asking two questions, could you ask the second one in a voice?
And also, maybe because of the crappy recorder that we have, we can just repeat the question, or how we go.
Can we repeat it like this? The question was,
if you want.
how do you learn so many lines?
That's a lot of questions.
Okay, good night. Thanks for coming. Seriously? No.
There's always a moment of nerves, guys. Give them some time.
There's no such thing as a stupid question. Just stupid. Perhaps you're always on that side, Misha. Maybe you should ask the first question.
Okay, I'll start.
Thank you. Jamie.
Hi, Jamie.
Damon, what inspired Forget Me Not?
That's a really good question, mate. It was a news story based on a true life story of a man who this happened to. He was a very intelligent man. He was an architect, I believe. Hello? Sorry, I can't. I'm answering Jamie's question at the moment. Yeah, it was a news report, and it was the thunderbolt that hit when I saw his story. And he had a wife. He remembered his wife, but he didn't remember that he'd seen her half an hour ago. And so that every time that she walked through the door, he was like a puppy, he was so excited, he was so overjoyed, which was a weird pleasure for her and a weird heartache, both at the same time, you know. So a great heartache and a great joy, which is what goes on all the time. So a true life story, mate.
With that memory, did it just end? I was wondering, did it get to a point where the memory, it stopped for him and he could remember up to facts in his life up to
Yes, as in the play. The night that his memories fell out of his head. It was literally like that in the news story. He literally went to bed one night. Stop! I'm fucking answering questions. He went to sleep one night. All memories intact. He woke up the next day. 30 seconds with 1 minute memory.
Drew Barrymore in 50 First Dates. Any similarities?
Yes. I saw the film around the same time, and
yet you didn't cast her. I'm curious.
And yet we have John Smith.
She was busy.
Drew Barrymore.
Any other questions? Anything at all?
So everyone perfectly understood both shows.
Well, yeah, I think maybe you get on fraction. That was a little bit more ambiguous, perhaps.
Chris? James?
a rundown on
Refractions.
on the play?
Yeah, what was going on?
Well,
No, I've got my own idea. I just want to compare it to
okay.
the intentions of the
Well, your own ideas are probably as good as anyone else's, really, to start with.
What's your interpretation?
It's a play that is open, certainly, to degrees of interpretation. If you're going to interpret it as a metaphor for, Soviet Russia, probably off the mark. So it's open to interpretation with limitations. I guess it's a play that's about, well, for me and how I first read it, it's a play about past errors or misjudgments catching up with people, and the stuff that you repress, finding a way to surface or resurface in your life. In the play, it's through the abstract form of the mirror, and the mirror action triggers things, and it's something which all sort of culminates at this vital moment in these three people's lives when, the breakup of the marriage is about to happen, and my character, the lover, building the energy or the strength to go to the man he loves and wanting him to be with him. So all three of them are at a very crucial point in their adult lives, and it's at that point that all these things that have been repressed, that have been pushed down, or past memories or past errors resurface and get sort of thrown on the table in a very abstract, humorous way at times, and sad times.
Christine was the artistic director of Deck Chair Theatre, was watching a Year 11 exchange student who was here with his father. And it was just perfect because, Chris nicely surmised there, at different times when his son was laughing, he was going, "Oh, this is great, I'm so glad I brought him. Oh, God. Oh, no, it's okay again, everything. Oh, fuck, oh, no, oh, God." So it's all good. That's good, yeah. Everyone, oh God, for what it's worth, the artist's greatest tool for me personally is humility. Nobody in the world is better than anybody else, and everybody has a reflection. Do you know what I mean? Every single person is as great and as irrelevant as everyone else.
Communist?
Everyone is a communist, thanks. Basically, I'm trying to put my communist regime on people. There's no communism in this way. Let that thing go.
It wasn't actually that far off.
Let it go.
What was your interpretation of the reflection? Anyone want to tell me? I'm interested to know.
Me too.
Because I had my interpretation, I just know what other people thought the reflection was. Like what it represents. Dark figures.
What people want to do.
subconscious. Is that almost a subconscious thought? No?
Yeah.
A little bit like this, or no? Yeah, that's what it does. Yeah. That you know certain things that you don't necessarily will think yourself that you're aware of. See, to me, when the reflection killed that strangled the baby, that was the point where I thought, why did the reflection strangle the baby? And was that the reflection? Was that your reflection strangling the baby, or was it his character's? I don't know.
Which is also a directorial choice, because Mark changed it.
Didn't strangle, sorry, hang the baby.
Which is still a directorial choice. It wasn't actually, yeah, anyway.
Ooh, bit of tension.
Oh!
Bit of tension.
That was a big change.
Yes, to me it is. It's an important change. Pissed upon?
It's alright, Elise. You can go for your life.
Go for it. You're in. June's next line.
Which is missed often when the audience is laughing.
Yeah.
So I had a couple of friends, I was in the audience one night and everyone was laughing hysterics and the actor said the line, which was, I had an abortion. And then later someone said to me, why? It was funny, but like, why?
Why is it funny?
Because it's a thing on a baby, that's funny.
Because the pissing goes on so long. That guy, because he's such a big bladder, you know, that's funny.
Hey,
it is.
big bladder means...
For that pissing to go on so long, it's like, then it becomes hyperbole, and that's what people are laughing at. You're laughing at the hyperbole.
But also we've established previously in the play that penises are funny, so when you see another one on shadow, no, it's seriously, like everyone's so used to laughing, oh, it's a penis, it's time to laugh. Yeah. So when that penis comes out, then, oh, it's pissing, now it's also...
And also because he said...
Listen, he's seen the show more than anyone.
He says it's meant to be... one of the characters says, is that meant to be funny or sick? Is that the moment? When he's rocking the baby?
When he's rocking the baby.
Which kind of already establishes the humour of it.
But
It's
the
like...
reason to laugh as well, I think, is it's that moment where you need that laugh to break something. You know,
Yeah,
it's an uncomfortable point where laughter is... You could cry, I suppose. But it's that moment where you need a relief of some sort.
Yeah.
Given what's happened so far, and given that now there's a baby involved, where that could have taken it, and you see the penis, you better laugh. And you actually look at it.
What about
some
of the performances in both of these plays? I'm pretty humbled by some of the amazing performances that go on in both these plays. I think Longley being a scary bastard is...
Thank you.
Yeah, we knew.
The beard, isn't it? You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You can see Sam Longley play Scary Bastard in Where the Wild Things Are.
Yeah. Later this month.
I'm just really proud of every performer in both shows. I think they truly even extend outside the sort of outlines that I've drawn for their characters, and I think Don and Matt and Misha and Tele and Chris, just beautiful. Who did I miss?
James.
Everyone else.
Fuck. Everyone apart from James. I think James is a real dead weight.
You think that the song
Okay, can we give some time for the audience members who may be a bit nervous to just get their guts up, to put their hands up, because we're talking a hell of a lot. Great.
I just wanted to know why you chose the harp.
Oh, yeah.
That was Mark.
Catherine, do you want to kind of go into that, maybe, where it came from?
It was direct.
The first line of the script, it says haunting music crescendo, and I guess for Mark, that's the music reason.
He has a harp phobia. So
Before we had harp last night.
yeah.
I remember him saying it was once in New York he heard harp last and went, ping.
Yes, we didn't know who we were going to cast as Colin, and then James came and auditioned, and he was amazing. I just wanted to mention him. That's why Mark and I worked really well together, because for me, I wanted my belief with refraction is that you could turn on a fluorescent light and you have 3 actors go hard and you could move an audience. And then Mark Storon comes to me and says, hey, I've got this harpist who's going to start the show with a harder clapping. What the are you talking about? And it's great. It's magic, you know. It's just great. He's not here. Yeah, and people are talking about the unsheathing of the harp.
It was sexy, isn't it? That watching the harp get undressed. Yeah. But isn't there symbols about harp? The harp. Oh, that harp. Sorry, heartstrings. I'm thinking of heartstrings. Sorry.
I think we should all know that the harp is the most difficult instrument to learn.
Yeah, Catherine. Catherine, well, why don't you talk about your experience as the harp? Did you compose for this?
Not as such.
But I imagine you mean all the instrumental stuff.
Other than the song.
Yeah, Heart of Glass was obviously Mark's choice. And the rest of it, he gave me quite a bit of freedom. He said, look, we want a sort of nursery rhymes, like sort of going back to the sort of infancy with the babies and everything. And he gave me a lot of freedom to do that.
So you did compose then, ultimately?
In parts, I guess. It's a improvisation, a stringing together of other elements there.
You improvise every night.
It's,
that is right,
it's different every night. It is different every night.
Yeah.
Slightly. Yeah.
Sorry about that.
We might do 2 more questions.
I was wondering how much rehearsal had to go into the shadow part and the water episode with the baby.
Jimmy?
Yeah, James. How many times did you have to do your
shadow puppet stuff? We had problems with it really because it was pretty hard. We didn't have the actual scrim for a while because obviously it needs to be made, and it's quite hard to do shadow puppet work in the daylight, which is when most of our rehearsals were. So a lot of it was kind of we mapped out and went, this is kind of how it should work, but we can't see it, so we'll have to wait. So we actually have probably 3 or 4 rehearsals with the scrim before the actual production went up.
Yeah, it was very late. I remember it was very late when Mark was moving that front light around, trying to get it in the right position.
And even everything, and then had to change because staging was then slightly different, and obviously because it's magnified, it really affected it. So it got changed up to about the 3rd performance.
Yeah, Mark, James and I would watch a lot of videos just to research. Yeah.
Can I ask a question? What's it like to passion another person on stage?
I've never done it.
I've never been a lead role.
Oh my God.
It's okay.
I think this is my first stage kiss.
My last show I actually had to pash a bloke, so...
Hey! Yeah, no, for me, I think it helps when you're not sickened by the person you're pashing.
Oh, come here!
No, like, it's if there was some funny smell, or if there was something gross, it may be difficult, but with Matt, it's been really easy, and literally, Mark threw it on us in a rehearsal, and he went, let's just try this. I want you guys to start dancing. This wasn't in the script. I want you guys to start dancing, and I want you guys to just kiss, and then leave. And I was like, oh my God, Matt, we're going to have to kiss. But it was, once we did the first one, it was so easy and natural and really, really comfortable. How did you feel?
No, I felt fine because I've known Misha for a while. So I was like, oh, I've got to kiss Misha. And, but in rehearsal, it was just sort of like, just go for it, so there wasn't any time to be nervous, and it was fine.
And I think it really helps if neither actor makes it awkward. Matt's fiance is in the audience right now. I'm really sorry.
It's okay because I know Matt
I
and Misha.
don't enjoy it.
That's not true.
I enjoy it, babe, just putting it out there.
my boyfriend saw the show.
You could kiss Misha.
Pretty.
You could. That'd be cool.
I think that was our last two questions. We'll give one final if there's anyone that's got a real urgent thing on their mind. Okay.
I think it was just a colour palette that Mark wanted to work with.
It was.
Yeah.
I think the designer was talking 50s, which is sort of what it probably is, but it's sort of, I think, in between the two.
The way I sort of...
I think it fits though.
Yeah.
So I think, because this idea that my character is sort of from the 50s. I think.
Yeah, but that's what I sort of saw it as, is in the present, but things have sort of been fading for a while. So things haven't sort of moved on from a certain period, and they're still sort of left behind and sort of, yeah.
Yeah, and I know Mark, the director, he specifically wanted Forget Me Not to be a representation of what's going on in Don's mind. So to be slightly warped and just slightly twisted, and I think, yeah, the design probably was very much from where his mind is still at.
My character.
Sorry, Don's character.
I think all the three designs aid to that, though. I mean, the music is very 1950s, 60s jazz.
Yeah,
the lighting's
definitely.
quite warm, quite 50s. So it really does lend itself all together.
Even the radio, I think, was brand new, but it was sort of that type of retro design.
Yeah. All right.
So if you'd like to tell anybody you know to come see it, greatly appreciated.
Would be greatly appreciated.
Can I beg the time for one more question?
Yes, you so can.
This is something that's kind of a bit of a curveball today. But, okay, with refraction, a lot of the humour comes from the fact that your marital relationship is a homosexual one.
Yes.
How do you, as a writer, use that and still not kind of, like, how do you personally take that and then not lend yourself in some kind of quagmire involving, you know, queer rights and, you know, the idea that it then becomes the sexuality of it, which is so charged politically, becomes a joke. Like, what's your kind of take?
I think an affair, this is based on a true story as well. This is an acquaintance of an acquaintance, Tale, told me about, could you believe it? This guy's been married for 10 years and he's had a gay lover the whole time. And the thunderbolt hit and the play wrote itself. And that is enough to shock people, an affair for 10 years. And when it's a man, when it's the husband has had an affair with a man for 10 years, that puts another element of it. But there's no... I think if you plunge the depths of comic angle based on it being a homosexual affair, that would really cheapen it. This woman is still going to have her heart broken, still going to have her soul ripped out of her. And so there's no need to sort of address the comedic element of that angle of it being a homosexual relationship. I think the way Chris plays it is utterly perfect.
Right.
In the way that he, all three of them, James, Tele and Chris, it's the truth of the situation. For me, the conversation I have isn't far removed from a conversation I imagine might have happened in the world. So that's the way I downplay that. I truly believe that. I truly believe conversations like that are close to reality.
It wasn't an indictment.
Absolutely, bro, and I agree entirely.
And from a point of view, said when you read it off the page, first there's that, you know, you're playing a gay character, so you're representing a particular minority in the world which has a very strong voice. and a very strong movement, especially currently. And there is a natural humour in that, but I don't know necessarily if the humour wouldn't be there if it wasn't a woman saying those lines, or if it wasn't a female character. It's the humour of the moment of the three people being in a room and, two people loving the one person, that, sort of sadistic love triangle, that the humour comes from, not necessarily out of the sexuality of one of the characters. And I think that's there in the script. There are 2 or 3 quite obtusely gay lines, but then there's also the other, 72 that aren't, and that are the heart of the character and the warmth, and most humour comes from truth.
I find it almost irrelevant. I mean, it's about humans. It doesn't really matter what gender, what sexuality, any of those things. And I think because it has those elements of straight, gay, whatever it might be, you kind of just get over that pretty quickly and connect with the people as just another human being, as opposed to their sexuality or what the choices they've made. It's the situation and the humanity of that moment. So I think it's helped by the fact there's a gay character in there that isn't just the focus of the whole piece or the humour or not.
Well, the taboo adds tension. There's no reason why not use that tension.
If you with a woman instead of a man, the conversation would probably be the same.
Yeah. Very, very good.
Oh, I was having an affair with a ghost.
When Chris says, I want more, and Alay's character is disgusting, and that's like, for me, I just go, would that be the same word used in a straight situation? Would it be disgusting, or would it be you fucker, or something, Like, for me, that's something that kind of tweaks.
But then it could be a straight situation.
Yeah, I could say disgusting, straight cheater.
It's just her view of that. I mean, if there was an age gap of 60 years, say,
Yeah.
then I imagine disgusting probably would come up again.
If it was something that I felt conflicted with, I wouldn't have.
Yeah.
But I thought it was an interesting talking
Topic,
point
definitely.
within a play that does deal with that in some way.
Okay. Well, thank you very much,
Thank you
audience, and thank you very much, actors and Joe's the lighting designer and stage manager of the show, in case you were wondering. And no, thanks, guys.
Thank you.